be a small Paris cafe where James Joyce often met Ernest Hemingway. Now, Joyce was almost blind, and to be quite honest, he was somewhat of a troublemaker. He used to start fights all the time, and then when a man would double up his fist, Joyce would put on his thick glasses and turn to Hemingway and say, "Take care of him, Ernest."
Man, that Joyce is lucky he didn't get hit from both sides.
Okay, class, that's it. Will someone get the blinds, please? And Bernie, take down the screen for me, please.
Miss Johnson, is something wrong?
Well, I thought I had oh, that's silly. It's nothing. I want you to all write down your impressions of James Joyce, the man, versus James Joyce, the writer. You have 10 minutes. Helen, will you please take over the class for me? Begin working. Thank you. Oh, hi. Liz.
Well, I'm next.
No, this is an emergency.
What happened?
I was showing slides and somebody took a $20 bill out of my purse.
Just now?
During class. Look, I don't know what to do. I mean, if I expose him, I could ruin him. And if I let him get away with it, it might set a whole pattern. I mean, who knows? It might lead to something worse. Either way, I could ruin his entire life.
Whose life, Alice?
That's just it. I don't know.
Now, wait a minute, Alice. Are you absolutely sure you had the $20 in your purse?
Positive.
Maybe you left it in the other purse.
I had the money with me. The question is should I let it go?
Well, if somebody stole your money, you can't just let it go. You got to do something.
All right, then the question is what?
Well, I am all out of suggestions for today.
Suggestions. That's it. Hey, thanks.
Now, what were you saying?
About what?
Well, no, when class started, I had $20 in my purse. And it disappeared when the room was dark. I want the person who took it to put it in an envelope, address it to me, and drop it in the school suggestion box. No questions asked. Class dismissed.
Now, look at me. I'm clean. Now, who take it?
A thief.
That makes sense.
Hey, man, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Hey, wait a minute.
Silence. What do you want to do? Interfere with your civil rights?
Anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law.
But I don't want to die, Mom.
Write that down.
Now, if I could write, you think I'd be here?
Well, I guess we're going to let you off, but you're going to have to come by and buy a raffle ticket.
Let's see how many we can sell before lunch while they still got money.
Okay.
Boys!
Say, Roy. Hey, what's the first prize?
Stereo record player.
Big.
I wish it was a new father. I'd buy a dozen tickets.
You mean your old man split again?
Yeah, when the bills come in, he goes out.
That isn't funny.
Who's laughing?
Well, I mean, when he splits, what do you do?
You get some part-time job, man. What do you think? Hey, Mr. Kaufman, you want to buy a raffle ticket? Only 25 cents.
All right.
How many you going to take?
One.
Just one.
Jason, I have bought a dozen tickets to every activity in this school, and I always lose. This time we'll try one. Good luck to me.
I mean, that's all the money I had with me. I don't even have car fare.
Alice, the ride is free.
Oh. Pete,
What?
we've got a problem.
Boy, I think I must be a jinx.
Well, look, tell me about it on the way.
We can't.
What do you mean you can't? What's wrong?
Got a flat tire. Boy, some free ride.
Flat as a pancake, honey. We can still make it to the store before it closes.
Yeah. Oh, great.
What's the matter? What is it?
Somebody stole my spare tire.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure, Alice. It's not there.
Maybe you left it in your other car.
Oh, good morning, Jimmy.
Hi, Mr. Dixon.
It's a nice bike you got. I wish I had one like that yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Hi, Mr. Dixon.
Hi, Butch.
Oh, Jimmy, I've been trying to catch you. Here's the $10 I owe you.
Oh, good. Man, I didn't think I was going to see this for a month.
Yeah, I got lucky. Oh, with the job.
Where you working?
Oh, across town.
Is your dad still alive?
Yeah.
What kind of work does your father do?
Oh, he's a salesman, Mr. Dixon. Oh, when he works. When he doesn't work, he's away. And he's away a lot.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta go. Bye, Mr. Dixon.
See you.
Do you have any idea what that looks like without music?
Oh, I got music.
It's a radio.
And so close to the eardrum. I thought it was a hearing aid.
So did I. I've been yelling at him for weeks. See ya.
Okay, bye. I don't know. I just wish the boys wouldn't stare all the time. Honey, don't move around so much in class.
Hey, look.
Oh, my goodness.
In the suggestion box.
Well, it certainly is suggestive.
I didn't think you could misspell that word.
$20, your spare tire, and now this.
Oh, I don't think that note ties into anything.
Neither do I. It's not that original.
Oh, really? Gee, I thought it was. Maybe that's because it was my first.
You know, it just occurs to me, how could anyone get in the trunk of your car?
I don't know. Maybe somebody took the keys out of my jacket pocket.
Maybe you better teach with it on for a few days.
Good thinking. Maybe we ought to take a look at my classroom, huh?
Returning to the scene of the crime?
Right.
Why not?
I have a class.
It's all right. We can handle it ourselves.
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, huh?
I was showing slides, and there were approximately 30 students in the room sitting.
I have a rough idea where your students sit. Now, where was your purse?
It was on the desk, and I was over there.
Where was the screen?
Right here.
Was there a lot of commotion when you were setting up?
Well, I got my finger stuck in it at first, but then I had a boy set it up for me.
Do you remember who?
Well, sure, it was... No, he was sitting over here. Oh, it was... No.
It's all right. Where was the projector?
Right over here.
What's the matter?
Well, it was right here.
I know, you just said that.
Well, what I mean is it was right here, and now it's gone. Hi.
Good morning. What's the matter?
Oh, what makes you think something's the
I
matter?
just sat down with a cup of coffee. Didn't I? It stands to reason. Something's the matter.
Well, we do have a problem.
You see that?
A slide projector's missing.
A what?
And that's not all.
Not all.
Yesterday, somebody stole $20 out of my purse while I was showing slides. Pete didn't believe me.
He didn't say that, Alice.
Please, get to the projector.
It's missing.
I heard that. Why is it missing? Is it stolen?
We think so.
We're looking for a pattern.
I agree. Have you reported any of this to the police?
Nope.
We're reporting it to you.
Yes, thank you. You say Pete's spare tire is missing, too?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have Pete see me in my office as soon as he's free? Thank you. I know I never get a whole cup of coffee. Has anything else been misplaced around this school that no one's telling me about?
Not that I know of.
It's like some kid's out to make himself some extra money.
Yeah, maybe you're... What are you going to do?
Call the police.
Or would you hold off a minute?
Why?
Well, I got an idea I want to check out.
What ideas, Pete? Oh, wait a minute. You mean about who did it?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I don't want to say until I look into it.
Pete, I have to report it. This is stealing.
I know, but will you just give me a little time?
Okay. You got an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
Sure, you can work wonders in an hour and a half.
But that's not enough.
Hi, fellas. Is Butch around?
I ain't seen him. Hey, Mr. Dixon, you want to buy a raffle ticket?
What for?
The boys' band. Lots of wild prizes.
Is one of them a projector?
No, man.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I'll take one.
Mr. Kaufman, he bought a dozen.
No kidding.
Okay, one.
You still think it's Butch?
For one thing, where is he?
Pete, it's a big school, especially at lunchtime. A kid could be anywhere.
Lunchtime. I got a meeting with Mr. Kaufman. I guess he's going to have to call the police. I'll let you know what happens.
You better.
Need some help, Jimmy? Hi. What's going on? I don't know, but maybe now we can find out. Well, what are you going to do with the typewriter?
Look, Jimmy, if there's anything you want to tell us, now's the time.
Jimmy, do you know what the word felony means? You know what happens once it gets on your record? All right, wait outside, please.
Well, what do you say?
I say now I call the police.
Just doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. With an electric typewriter, a projector, some cash, and your spare tire, I'd say it adds up to something like $700.
Yeah, but why did he pick this particular time to steal a typewriter?
Because I was out to lunch.
And I was on my way to your office to keep an appointment. Now, he heard me make that appointment.
Well, what are you saying? That he wanted you to catch him?
Well, if he wanted me to catch him, that was the way to do it.
Well, even if, Pete, that doesn't mean we're going to let him get away with it.
What puzzles me is that, well, he's not a troublemaker. He's a good student. Why does he suddenly decide to become a thief?
Well, that's for the police to investigate.
That's what I'm worried about. You said it yourself. A felony rap can follow a kid around for the rest of his life. Wait a minute. What's the first thing that the police do when a kid is involved in a crime?
Call his parents, I guess. Why should I? I know, a felony rap. Oh, boy, now I don't know who to call, the police or his parents. Oh, yeah, Miss Hogarth. Look, would you call, Jimmy Thompson's parents for me, please? Tell him I'd like to see him as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Hogarth. His parents will be here tomorrow.
No.
Find anything?
Nothing we didn't see before. Grades are excellent, Iowa score high, no discipline problems, and no hint of anything out of the ordinary. Why won't they be here today?
Scheduling problem, getting them together.
What do you mean?
They split up.
Oh. To understand the history of America in the past century, you have to understand the increase in personal mobility. In the old days, people stayed pretty much in one place. They lived together. Children, parents, grandparents, even unmarried aunts. The lifestyle was set, and the man grew up expecting to do pretty much the same thing that his father did. But today, things have changed. People are scattered. Mobility has brought with it a change of values, a change of lifestyles.
Oh, you mean like communes?
Communes aren't exactly new, but they are an example. What else?
Smaller families.
Right?
More divorces.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think people today feel the necessity to stay married? Fran?
Well, I think maybe marriage is a thing of the past.
Well, family life is breaking down. We all suffer the effects of that. The big question is, how does it affect you? Have you thought about it?
I've thought about it a lot. My mother's been married 5 times. And what's really embarrassing is when you're out with one father and you run into another father.
Must be great at Christmas time.
We'll try it on Father's Day.
Well, check this out. My cousin folks split up, then they got back together. Now everything's the same way it was before.
Rotten.
I don't see any point in people staying married when they don't like each other anymore.
Well, suppose they have children.
Well, I guess that would make it even tougher to decide.
I think the reason they stay married is because of the kids.
You care to comment on that, Jimmy?
No.
Thank you. Jimmy? Your parents are in Mr. Carlton's office.
Here you go, Fran. Third prize, a magnificent, completely transistorized radio.
I'll bet you it doesn't even have batteries. Yeah, I was right.
Be nice to me, and maybe I can work something out.
I'd rather be nice to Godzilla.
Hey, Mr. Dixon, guess what? You won 4th prize, lunch for 2 at the Pizza Parlor, man.
Well, thank you, Jason. I don't know what to say.
You know what to say when you get to lunch.
No, that's perfectly all right. Take all the time you need. Any messages?
Yes, Mr. Henry called.
Morris?
Uh-huh, he said it was urgent.
I'll call him tomorrow.
But he said it was urgent.
Miss Hogarth, Napoleon let everything sit on his desk for 3 months before he thought it was urgent.
Actually, he was noted for being very prompt in his correspondence. My nephew did his thesis on Napoleon.
Is there any other news?
Well, the baseball coach was complaining again.
That's not news. Is that all?
No.
Look, let's let the rest wait, please. You know, Miss Hogarth, sometimes I wonder if January 15th will ever come again.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I guess that was before you came here. There was one January 15th I'll never forget.
Oh? What happened?
Nothing. Nothing at all. All day long. What's happened? The misplaced objects are all going to be returned. Jimmy wanted to talk to his parents alone for a few minutes. You know why I think he did it? Why? To get his parents back together again. How's that going to get his parents back together? Well, by showing them how much he needs them, how much their split is affecting him. Oh, I see. You know, I don't condone what he did, but I hope it works. They seem like nice people. Jimmy? Didn't work, did it?
Mr. Dixon, what do you do when you've tried as hard as you can to make something work, but then it just doesn't turn out right?
Try to adjust to it.
But that's not enough.
Never has been. You know something, Jimmy? Your parents are probably as unhappy about this as you are. Need your understanding as much as you need theirs.
Well, that's what they said, but then that's putting it all on me.
Not all. But the older you get, the more you have to share in the problems.
But this is their problem. It's not mine.
Really?
All right, it's mine too. But what I mean is, I didn't create it. It's not fair that I be in the middle.
I didn't say it was fair.
Just the way it is. Did you ever have to adjust to this kind of problem?
Not this one specifically, but I have had to adjust.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
Your historical review.
Thank you. Ready? Let's go. I'm starved.
Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Why didn't you take us out to lunch?
I was just taking Mr. Coffin to lunch. How about that? We're going to the pizza parlor. Would you care to join us?
The pizza parlor.
Are you kidding?
Pete Dixon.
Oh, look, it's for a good cause. Come on now, I realize the food isn't the greatest food in the world.
Miss Johnson, I'm in the most incredible trouble with my mom again. You gotta help me.
Well, what happened this time?
Well, she never believes me. Last night... Oh! There's my boyfriend.
Yes.
I'll talk to you after lit today, okay, Miss Johnson? It's vital.
Real good, Margaret, sure.
No!
Oh, good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Are you okay?
Sure, fine. Swell.
Were you up all night grading papers again?
Mm-hmm. Some kids came by, and then Margaret Peters phoned again. Well, I couldn't turn them away.
You know, you keep this up, you're going to be the best love teacher in the hospital.
At least I'd get some sleep. There are still a number of delinquent candy accounts. Any student on the delinquent list must turn in their money or the chocolates by Friday without fail. All right, Barney, would you and George please pass out the books Mr. Dragon had sent up?
Is that our next assignment?
Yes, Margaret.
Silas Marner.
Come on now. It's a classic.
Classics. That means it's guaranteed to put you to sleep, right? Why can't we study the books we like once in a while?
Because they ain't classic, man.
In a sense. See, they haven't withstood the test of time.
Yeah, but that don't mean that they aren't fun to read and that we can't learn lots from them.
Teachers think you only learn something when it hurts.
Now, that's not true, Barney. But we do have a certain curriculum we must follow.
Yeah, but I bet you'd rather read modern books just like us, wouldn't you, Miss Johnson?
Sure she would. She's not a creep like old man Dragan.
Dragon thinks anything after Nathaniel Hawthorne is science fiction.
Science fiction is practically pornography.
Not everyone has the same taste. Besides, Mr. Dragan is head of the English department.
So we gotta read a book he likes.
But Johnson, we just got through with the old classic. Why can't we study a book we want, and then we'll study that old Silas Marner?
Yeah, right on.
Well, do you have a book in mind, Pat?
How about Catch-22?
Catch-22?
Yeah, it won all kinds of literary awards, and lots of people think it's a really great book.
What's it about?
Well, see, there's this dude, you're Syrian, and he's in the army, right? And he wants out. And the only way you can get out is to tell the medics you're crazy. But if he knows that he wants out, then he can't be crazy, so he's in, which really makes him crazy. And if the dude asks to get out, then he can't be crazy. So, I mean, that's Catch-22. Dig it?
Kind of reminds me of school.
Oh, come on, Miss Johnson. Be a good egg, please. Let's read the book we want, and then we'll read the book you want.
Miss Johnson's with us, Pat. She wants to study the same book as us. Don't you, Miss Johnson?
Well, all right. But first we'll study Silas Marner, then Catch-22.
Oh, why can't we do it the other way around? We're still recuperating from the mill on the floss.
Yeah. And we'll feel so great after Catch-22, we won't mind Silas Marner so much. It'll help the educational process.
Okay, Miss Johnson, Catch-22 first, please.
You know, we could use a few of you kids at the Paris peace talks. Okay, it's a deal. First Catch-22, but then Silas Marner.
Oh, no, you had it right, Miss Johnson.
Best teacher at Whitman.
You can say that again.
Best teacher at Whitman.
It's my boyfriend. My parents don't approve, especially Mom, so when I called you last night,
Oh, yes, at 11 o'clock.
I was
Miss
with
Johnson.
Mo.
Oh, Miss Johnson, you thought about that bee of mine yet?
Barney, Miss Johnson, I don't know what you told me to tell the boys about the night. Oh, yes, I have. So what am I supposed to do? Here, take
If I
it.
handed it tomorrow, would that be all right?
Shut up, George. I told my mother I was studying.
Margaret, handed what tomorrow?
Mill on the Floss book report. I know I said today, but I'll get in tomorrow for sure.
Wasn't that the one that was due 2 weeks ago?
See, if I don't get that B in English, no track team. No track team, no scholarship, no nothing. I'm gonna be in serious.
Please, Miss Johnson. So if you could just sign this note saying that we were studying together last night.
See, if I don't get that B, I've had it. Why stay in school?
I can't sign this note, Margaret.
Will it be all right? The book report, I mean.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, swell. Hey, you're great, Miss
Oh,
Johnson.
you've got to, Miss Johnson. It's the truth. We talked for a long time. That was studying.
Miss Johnson, my whole future depends on that B, so you will give it to me.
Would you step in here a moment, please? I'd like a word with you.
In just a second, Mr. Dragon.
I don't have much time.
I have to go.
Oh, please. You're not like the other teachers. You understand. Just initial it, okay, Miss Johnson?
Now, you will explain the particulars to your mother, won't you,
Oh,
Margaret?
sure, of course. I promise. Oh, thanks. You're great,
Oh, Miss
Johnson.
Johnson.
Fantastic.
What about my B?
We'll see. I have to talk to Mr. Dragon.
Can you ask him what he thinks of Catch-22?
When Mr. Cotton was sergeant in my department, I was a little less than enthused. But from all reports, it appears you've been able to instill into your students a rare enthusiasm, which I shall be only too pleased to know to my evaluation report of your work at the end of the semester. Well done, Miss Johnson.
Thank you.
Now then, how is your Lit Class 204A getting on with Silas Marner?
Oh, well, Mr. Dragon, what I've done is, well, the class is sort of aiming at Silas Marner. You know, getting in the mood, preparing.
Good. Great book. My personal favorite. And perhaps the greatest book in our entire curriculum. Well, keep up the good work, Miss Johnson. Oh, Miss Johnson,
Yes, Mr. Dragon.
get some sleep.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Having any problems?
Oh, no. I left some papers in my desk that needed marking. I just thought I'd get here early, but I didn't realize that the doors would be locked.
You didn't realize.
That the doors would be locked.
I see. Okay, kid, what are you doing here?
Kid? Look, I'm Miss Johnson. I happen to be a teacher.
That's funny. Most teachers know what time school starts. What do you teach, kid?
English.
English, huh? Okay, who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Uncle Tom's Cabin? Well, that's easy. That's simple. Well, let's see. Everybody knows Uncle Tom's Cabin.
It's a book.
Well, I didn't think it was a motel.
All right, don't get wise.
Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Who was the bad guy?
Simon Legree. And do you want me to tell you who he reminds me of?
Okay. I guess you're a teacher, all right.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I give you a word of advice?
What is it?
Don't burn the candle on both ends. It ain't worth it.
ought to get some sleep at night, Miss Johnson.
You're not an emergency clinic, Alice. You know, you're not supposed to be on duty 24 hours a day.
But they're such great kids, Pete.
Sure, but you can't do everything. Teach your regular classes, give special tutoring, and handle their individual emotional problems. It's too much.
How'd you like to coach the baseball team on the side?
Well, I am getting a little worn down, but...
What time did you get to bed last night?
Well, after I finished grading some of these quiz papers about... Oh, no, then Natasha Rogers called, and then Margaret again. Oh, about 1:32.
Alice, you have got to learn how to say no.
Pete's right. You've got to draw the line. I mean, I'm a sensitive, sympathetic counselor, but I don't get phone calls all hours of the night.
How do you manage it?
Leave the phone off the hook.
Of course it's a comedy. A black comedy.
How can you tell a book about war and men getting killed funny?
Yeah, but that's what black comedy is. If you don't laugh, baby, you'd be crying all the time.
I disagree. Personally, it's an immoral book. Don't tell me. My father was in World War II, and this makes it all sound like it was crazy.
So what did your father think about the book?
I don't know.
Well, Barney, why don't you ask him?
Okay.
All right, read the next 3 chapters for tomorrow.
I know immorality. Yes.
Miss Johnson, you must be a veritable miracle worker.
Really?
To see a class so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after 40 minutes of Silas Marner, you know, that proves that our students can learn to appreciate the classics if they're taught with enthusiasm and verve.
Thank you.
You know, tomorrow, I'm going to permit myself a very special treat.
What treat is that, Mr. Dragon?
I'm going to witness firsthand what you're doing with Silas Marner. I'm going to audit your class. See you, Miss Johnson.
What's the matter? You're not hungry?
Oh, no, not very.
All right, Alice. Come on. What's on your mind?
You know I'm teaching Silas Marner.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly teaching Silas Marner.
You're not?
I'm teaching Catch-22.
Figures?
No, you don't understand. You see, the kids felt...
Let me guess. The kids felt that Silas Marner would be a drag, but that Catch-22 would be fun, right? And you felt the kids would hate you if you forced them into that dusty old classic. But if you allowed them to read a swinging modern classic, they'd love you. Am I close?
Exactly. But that's still not all. Mr. Dragon's going to audit my class today. What am I going to do, Liz?
I tell you what I'd do.
What?
For openers, I'd pray.
Pray?
Pray.
What do you mean we've gotten all we can out of Catch-22? We're hardly even into it.
What's going on, Miss Johnson?
Sounds like cop-out time to me.
Yeah.
We had an agreement, remember? Catch-22 first, then we dig into Silas Marner. Now, would you please get out your copies of Silas Marner?
Mine is home.
Mine, too.
We didn't know we were supposed to bring them.
Of course you didn't. All right, let's go on with Catch-22.
Yeah.
Barney, you were going to ask your father what he thought of the book. Has he read it?
Yeah, he said he read it when it first came out.
Excuse me, Miss Johnson. People, please go on, just as if I weren't here.
Yes, of course. Well, now, where were we? Oh, yes. Barney, you were about to tell us what your father thought of the book.
Well, I'm not...
Wonderful. Now, that's wonderful, Miss Johnson, bringing the views of the parents into the classroom. Oh, sorry. Go on, just as if I weren't here.
Go ahead, Barney. It's all right, Barney. Now go ahead. What'd your father have to say?
Well, he said a lot of things in the book were exaggerated. Like the way the nurses in the hospital cared more about their personal problems than they did about the patients.
Yes, practically everything in the book was exaggerated. Now, what do you think the author's intent was in exaggerating reality the way he did? Pat?
Well, it's just like in a painting. Sometimes the artist has to exaggerate certain features in order to get his point across.
Yeah, like the cat who cornered the whole cotton market in Egypt. That was impossible. But, you know, there were cats in the army stealing stuff and selling it.
Good. Now, does anybody else have an...
Excuse me just a moment, Miss Johnson. I must have come in here somewhere in the middle. Hospitals, nurses, stealing cotton. Now, I don't like to interrupt, but could someone please tell me what happened to Silas Marner and all this? Miss Johnson? I'm not upset, Miss Johnson. But I am seriously disappointed.
But Catch-22 is a marvelous novel.
It's a controversial novel, my dear. Silas Marner, on the other hand, is a time-tested classic. More importantly, it's on your teaching plan. Therefore, I suggest you teach it.
I was going to.
Miss Johnson, as you know, this is the first year of your probationary period.
Yes, sir.
Not a very promising beginning, is it? Not at all. From now on, Miss Johnson, you must place your trust in Silas Marner.
I'll try.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so.
Excuse me, Mr. Dragon. Miss Johnson, you wanted in Mr. Kaufman's office right now.
Dear Miss Peters, this is to let you know that your daughter Margaret Celestine Peters was studying with me last night as she claims she was. Yours very truly, A.J.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, come in, Miss Johnson. I don't believe you've met Margaret's mother, Mrs. Peters.
No, but I certainly wanted to meet you and find out what you thought you were doing when you signed that note.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Honest isn't a word I want to hear from you, Margaret.
I think I can explain, Mrs. Peters.
Please do. My daughter goes hoop-de-dooing off with a boy all hours of the night, and her teacher signs a note saying that she is studying. What do you teach, Miss Johnson? Sex education?
I don't think that's fair, Mrs. Peters. I think there's a reasonable explanation.
Well, I'd certainly like to hear one.
Miss Johnson?
Well, I'm afraid I did sign the note. We were studying. She did call me. I suppose that's a little misleading, but...
You were studying on the phone? What kind of a story is that?
It's a true one. I'm certain, Mrs. Peters, it's too far out to be anything else. I am equally certain that Miss Johnson was doing what she thought was best for Margaret, weren't you, Miss Johnson?
Be that as it may, Mr. Kaufman, you cannot explain away the fact that one of your teachers joined in a conspiracy to deceive a parent, and I don't like it, not one bit. Come on, Margaret, I want to talk to you.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson, do you know why a teacher teaches for 3 years before he receives tenure?
Well, I suppose if he or she can't do his or her job, he or she can be let go or fired.
Exactly.
You gonna fire me, Mr. Kaufman?
Miss Johnson, I like your enthusiasm for teaching. I like your dedication, but aren't you aware of what this kind of foolish, thoughtless behavior can lead to?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm afraid that's not good enough. Now, look. You've asked me if I'm going to fire you. I can only tell you that at the end of the semester, I will review your work and Mr. Dragan's evaluation, and I'll make a decision.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, don't thank me because, well, I just hope I never hear anything like this again.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Johnson, I will be listening very carefully.
Alice, don't you think Mr. Kaufman was justified in reading your...
I guess so.
Alice, do you want to be a teacher?
Of course I do.
Then why don't you act like it?
What do you mean?
Well, your first responsibility is to teach English, right? Well, you've let your students' personal problems interfere with that job.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a flop.
Alice, if you're ever going to teach, you've got to get over this idea that your students have to love you. They don't. What they have to do is learn. And what you have to do is teach them.
But I don't know where to start.
Start with Silas Marner.
All right. Look, it's 3 weeks since I committed the treasonous act of forcing you to put aside Catch-22 and read Silas Marner. You didn't want to study Silas Marner. I didn't particularly want to teach it. But what about Silas himself and the life he lived?
You call that living?
What do you call it, Barney?
Personally, it's a pretty miserable existence.
You mean because Silas was a miser?
Sure, all he cared about was money.
He certainly wasn't the most fun-loving cat in town.
Is the meaning of Silas Marner that money is bad?
Well, all that bought old Silas is being lonely.
Yeah, but that's because he used it like a shield to keep people away from him, right?
Oh, come on.
Okay, stop. Know what we've been doing? Thinking about Silas Marner. Arguing about it. And I bet some of us have actually been enjoying it. See? It's possible.
Hey, so that's why when he lost all that old gold, he was, like, vulnerable. And he could love that little girl, Eppie, right?
In other words, when he lost the money, he was forced to change, right? Yeah. Okay, now remember, this is a time when England was changing. The Industrial Revolution was coming on like a steam engine.
So that hanging on to gold was like hiding from change. If you don't hang loose, you're dead.
Right. All right. That's right.
What do you think of Jason's interpretation of Silas Marner, Mr. Dragan?
Oh, well, it is a somewhat unorthodox view of the book.
It wasn't the gold that was bad, it was Silas believing in it. Don't you think everybody's got to change their beliefs once they find out they're dragging behind the times?
Well, actually, you have a very interesting point there.
You mean you believe in revolution?
In change. In change, I hope there is a difference.
Some people think one's impossible without the other.
Is that what you think, Pat?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, what about the changes that have taken place in this country over the years?
What kind of changes?
Well, what ones can you think of?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dragan, but I think I'm right.
No, Jason, the thoughts of Chairman Mouse simply don't apply to Silas
But
Marner.
Mr. Dragan, I think I'm right.
I don't care.
Have you decided about my B yet, Miss Johnson?
Yes. You'll get a B if and when you earn it. And it's well within your capacity.
You know something, Miss Johnson? You've changed.
Well, that's what Silas Marner was all about, wasn't it?
Miss Johnson, you're never going to believe this.
But what?
But I'm in trouble with my mother again, and I gotta talk to you.
Look, Margaret, we're going to have to limit our conversations to what goes on in class. Now, you have friends to discuss your personal problems with. And if they're serious, you can go see your counselor.
Between the hours of 8 and 4:10 in my office, okay, Margaret?
Oh, swell, Miss McIntyre. Sweating.
I've been trying to get up the nerve to do that for weeks.
Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Well, actually, it's a great relief. Except
what?
Well, Margaret says she has another problem with her mother.
About what?
Well, that's just it. Now it looks like I'm never going to find out. And then Mr. Dragon said he had never encountered so many far-fetched interpretations of a book.
Is that good?
No, but he said he'd never encountered such enthusiasm either.
That is good.
So what are you going to teach next?
Well, we're going to finish Catch-22.
Catch-22?
Yes, Mr. Dragon said it was all right since the class handled Silas Marner the way they did.
Well, you should be very proud.
Oh, I am. And Mr. Dragon even preferred Catch-22 to a classic. One of the kids suggested we study.
Dragon did to a classic? Which one?
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
How many of you read a newspaper this morning? Jason, did you?
No, I just want to let you know I did last night's assignment.
Well, right now I'm not interested in last night's assignment.
Man, that's just my luck. When I do it, you ain't interested. You're going to be interested tomorrow in today's assignment.
You'll find out tomorrow. Now, if you people don't read the newspaper, how do you know what's going on in the world?
I thought this class was history, not current events.
Everything that's in this paper happened yesterday, and yesterday is history. So, starting tomorrow, I want everybody to read the morning paper and be prepared to discuss it.
That includes the comics?
I'll tell you what. You spend a half an hour on the news and editorial section, and after that, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I have that transfer student here I told you about. I was supposed to have a conference with Liz about him.
Be sure to have it today, okay?
Okay. Brian.
Brian Sturgis, this is Mr. Dixon.
Hello, Brian. Come on in. Class, this is Brian Sturgis, a transfer student. Why don't you just have a seat over there? Okay, let's get back to the newspaper. Who can tell me the difference between a straight news story and an editorial?
That's easy. Straight news is how it is, and the editorial is how it ain't. Helen?
A straight news story is a factual account of an event, while an editorial is the opinion of the editor or publisher of the newspaper.
Brian, we're discussing newspapers. Did you happen to read one this morning? Brian? Brian, can I see you a minute? What school did you transfer from? Can you hear me? Did you take history at your other school? What were you studying? Okay, that'll be all.
Painfully shy, withdrawn, attributed to severe stuttering.
No wonder you didn't say a word. What do they mean by severe?
Well, according to what I've read on the subject, they're referring to speech interruptions which can last up to 30 or 40 seconds.
Any speech therapy at his previous school?
It was a small school district. They didn't have any.
No private therapy either, right?
No chance. His parents prefer to think he'll outgrow it.
Oh, you talked to him?
I tried. It's like they're right out of the Dark Ages.
Oh, Brian? Can I talk to you a minute? I bet you know the tops of your shoes like the back of your hands. Brian, I know you stutter. Well, you gotta give me a little credit. When a kid doesn't talk in my class, I just go right to his records. And your records say that you're a severe stutterer. I'd like to judge for myself.
This satisfy your curiosity?
Okay, you got a handicap. But as far as I'm concerned, keeping your mouth shut is not the way to handle it. Look, Brian, I'm not suggesting that you stuff pebbles in your mouth and go out and shout at the ocean.
I'm familiar with Demosthenes.
I figured you were. What about speech therapy?
No, thanks. I tried that once. The guy just told me that I didn't have to stutter if I didn't want to.
Look, Brian, you're at a point in your life when you're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to be a bystander or a participator. Now, I'd like to try and help you become the latter.
How?
Well, we start off small. First thing you do is participate in my class. Oh, there might be a few who may react when they hear you for the first time.
What do I do if they laugh at me?
You ever try laughing back? Come on. Let's dig into history. Take today's front page. I'm sure that you noticed that each story had a byline written by a particular reporter, and others were by AP, UPI, and Reuters. What's that all about? Brian?
AP, UPI, and Reuters are press services. Newspapers. Ouch. Pay a fee to them and are supplied with news stories.
Thank you, Brian.
Hi, mind if I join you?
Sure.
Please do.
Is that your lunch?
That's it. Black coffee.
Are you on some sort of a diet?
I was born on a diet. Inside this lean, incredibly beautiful body is a fat man screaming to get out. You know something? Right now, I could eat every pie in my Uncle Harry's bakery. Let's change the subject. Oh, hey, how's Brian Sturgis doing?
He's doing great. He participated in Pete's class today.
That's great. What was the reaction of the other kids?
Oh, a few breakups, a few snickers. The kid hung right in there.
That's just great.
Hi, gang. Oh, boy, it is marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Fantastic. What?
Oh, the videotape machine. After 3 days, we finally figured out how to work it.
How's it going?
Well, you know, it is going to revolutionize teaching.
You think so, huh?
Well, I don't have to do a critique on the kids. They can do it themselves. Oh, listen, I really have to get back. I just came to invite you all to a small banquet we're having tomorrow night to honor the kids that helped raise the money to buy it.
Small banquet?
You will come, won't you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, how can I refuse?
Good. See you later.
How's everything going?
Just fine.
I thought you handled yourself beautifully yesterday in class.
They started to laugh at me. I got really uptight. I'm sure glad you were there.
Well, that's fine. But what happens when I'm not?
Guess I just have to learn to handle that.
Yeah, I guess you do. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine last night. He's a speech therapist.
What a coincidence.
Isn't it? Anyway, one thing led to another, and I told him about you. He thinks he can help.
My parents would never agree.
Well, maybe if you applied a little pressure and the school applied a little pressure, we might be able to convince him. Anyway, here's his card. His name is Dr. Lubin.
He just happened to give you his card, huh?
Yeah, it's funny the way things happen, isn't it? Oh, Brian, what are you doing now?
I've got a free period.
Well, why don't you drop in on Mrs. Johnson's class? A few of the kids are working on some entertainment for the banquet. They could use some help.
And I could use some more social practice, right?
You said it. I didn't.
Shoot. So I asked my grade advisor if she thought of shoot.
Oh, that's me.
Shoot. Necessary. Shoot. Shoot. If she thought it was necessary to
Look,
take...
Brian, I know I got 20 minutes invested in this story, but I gotta split the English.
But I gotta ask you a question.
Ask me tomorrow. After gym, I got a free period.
Hey, Bob, wait up. I'll walk with you to your class.
Wow. It's a beautiful piece of work.
What do you think?
I think you're right. Nancy should be in a creative writing class.
But how? I mean, she's on that 4-4 program. She doesn't have time for electives.
Well, I think with talent like this, we can find the time. I don't know how yet, but I'll think of something.
You have a very kind heart, Miss McIntyre.
And a rough job, Mr. Dixon. Come in. kids look like you're about to confess you just set fire to the school. What's wrong?
It's about Brian.
What about Brian?
Well, Mr. Dixon, we took candid shots of Brian stuttering, and we screened him, and he saw him, and he flipped, so we're sorry.
You mean you taped Brian stuttering and you were going to use it as part of the entertainment?
Well, how could you be so insensitive?
It was just a joke. I took shots of kids doing all kinds of dumb things around school. Got a great one of Mr. Kaufman at the water fountain.
I'm not interested, Mr. Kaufman. But I am concerned about Brian.
But Mr. Dixon, if we didn't shoot anything on Brian, he could feel left out. This way he belongs.
Don't give me that. Don't you kids know the difference between fun and ridicule?
Well, you were the one who sent him down there in the first place, Mr. Dixon.
Well, at that time, I had no idea what fun you had in store for him. Well, one thing's for certain. That sequence of Brian is going to be edited out of that tape.
Great advisor, if she thought it was
Alice?
necessary.
How'd you let that happen?
Tape.
Look, Pete, I didn't let this happen. I didn't even know about it. The kids went out on their own and shot this, and the first time I saw it was when Brian saw it.
But you're the one who's responsible for that thing. You should have made sure of what they were doing.
Look, I know. What can I say? I'm editing the tape now.
It's a little late for that, isn't it?
What else do you want me to do? You know, you're the one who sent Brian down here in the first place.
But that doesn't change anything.
You know, I feel as bad about this as you do.
I doubt it. Look, Alice, I'm sorry. You're right. I sent Brian to you. I apologize. And while apologies are in order, I guess I'd better go apologize to the one who needs it the most. Have any of you kids seen Brian?
Oh, we saw him. We tried to explain and apologize, but just bugged out.
We're really sorry, Mr. Dixon. We didn't think he'd take it the way he did.
I'm sure he did. I guess none of us gave it enough thought, did we?
Yes, you say that as a joke. Can I have your attention, please? If you guys hold down the noise, I will hold down the speech.
Works every time. We all know why we're here. We're here to congratulate both Miss Johnson and those students who did such a wonderful job of raising the money to buy this audio-visual equipment. I'm very proud of you. That ends my participation. That didn't hurt, did it? On with the entertainment.
All right, Bernie, I think we're ready.
Shoot.
Pete, cover the machine. I'll try to turn off the sprinkler. Who looks funny now?
Very clever. How'd you do it, Brian?
I'm a smart kid. Remember, Mr. Dixon?
You're a smart kid, all right. Did you have fun? Did you get your kicks?
I think it was a pretty good joke.
Sure it was. You ruined the party, you got your petty revenge on some people who really meant you no harm, and you might have damaged that machine. Come in. Brian, what you just did stunk.
Now, none of us are to blame for your stuttering. We might be to blame for embarrassing you. We tried to apologize, but you weren't man enough to accept our apologies.
You couldn't find the words to apologize for what you did to me.
Probably not, because you're too caught up in your own self-pity to hear them.
What would you know about it? Do you know what it's like to just want to say good morning or tell a joke or tell some girl you like her? But you can't, because you're afraid that they'll laugh in your face or run off in the middle of a sentence. Do you know what it's like to want to make a simple phone call? Do you know what any of that's like? Because I'll be happy to give it a name, Mr. Dixon. It's called agony. It's called... Hey, did you hear me just then?
I guess all we have to do is keep you mad all the time, huh?
To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep, to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. How about that, the first stuttering Hamlet?
That's very good.
Well, not exactly what Shakespeare had in mind, but a pretty good Brian Sturgis.
You should hear me on the telephone. I call the information operator 25 times a day.
Why, you have something going with the telephone company?
No, it's an exercise a doctor happened to give me.
Well, I'm glad you just happened to run into him.
Yeah, well, sometimes things just work out like that.
Now, tell me this. We talked about the anti-settlement law earlier in the term when we were into the Texas Revolution. Does that relate to what we're talking about now?
Yes, that's it exactly. The majority didn't agree with the rulers, and they were justified.
Bernie, what do you think?
Oh, I think I don't remember what the anti-settlement law was.
Larry.
It was a law disputed in 1830 when the Mexican government tried to stop more settlement, and the Texans wouldn't stop. Led to a whole lot of fighting.
Did they have the right to refuse? After all, it was a law.
Yeah, that's right. It was a law.
Well, so what? It was a bad law.
Oh, so you think if a law is bad, you can disobey it, huh?
Right.
Hey, man, wake up.
Mr. Dixon?
Charlie.
They didn't think. They knew. The Texans proved it.
Sure did. They won the revolution, didn't they?
A little late, aren't you, Jason?
That's what I kept telling Mr. Casey, but he didn't pay no attention.
Well, if he had to go to the vice principal's office, must have been some reason.
Yeah, he thought it was one.
Okay, where were we?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh, ma'am, you said that the early settlers proved that it was a bad law by winning. Does that mean that if they had lost, it would have been a good law? Oh, thank you. Charlie, Mr. Casey wants to see you.
Right now?
That's what it says. Larry, you had your hand up? Larry.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, we'll continue this discussion tomorrow.
I'm sorry I was late today, Mr. Dixon.
Well, I have to admit you did spend a long time at Mr. Casey's office. Can I help?
Yeah, you can help me catch a fiend. Somebody told Casey I was in the chemistry lab making perfume. Now I got 2 weeks detention.
Perfume in the chem lab?
Yeah, see, it's this little chick, you know, and I've been making perfume for her, and it was a little accident.
Little accident?
It wasn't much of an explosion, and I cleaned it all up. But I didn't think anybody was around. But somebody told Casey.
Maybe Casey saw it happen.
No, it wasn't no one there. There's so much thinking going on in this school, man. You gotta wait in line for Casey to get at you.
The traffic in and out of his office is rather brisk.
Brisk ain't the word for it. It's congested. And when I find out who's responsible for this, I'm gonna pop some think upside his head.
Suppose you hit the wrong guy by mistake. Jason, you may find out that revenge is not as sweet as you think it is. Take it easy, okay? Arnie?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dixon.
What's the matter?
I'm working nights. See, I got into some trouble and I'm trying to make it up.
What kind of trouble?
Well, I had to finish my biology project and I'm trying to do a real good job. So I borrowed a microscope from the lab.
Oh, boy.
I was gonna bring it right back. It was stolen from my car. Oh, I got a job right away. And only one more week and I'll have all the money to pay it back.
Has anybody missed it yet?
No. It's kept in a special case. Only advanced students are allowed to use it. Please don't tell Mr. Casey. I've got a scholarship hanging on my grades, Mr. Dixon.
I know. One more week.
That's it. And believe me, I've learned my lesson.
I hope you have.
Now, you said you saw the suspect hanging around the hall outside the chemistry lab at the time in question, right?
Right. But I was at the end of the hall.
Nevertheless, you said he was a male Caucasian about the age of 16, right?
Right. And he was wearing a red shirt.
Hey, Bernie got a red shirt.
Well, so do you, man.
Well, I ain't no male Caucasian, brother, or haven't you noticed?
Some people will use anything for an alibi.
Oh, it wasn't Bernie. This boy had hair like... hair.
So what have I got?
Never mind, man. We got business to take care of.
Hey, everybody, got it all ready.
What's that, Nevada?
Got 5 noses, 3 eyes, 6 hairdos, and 2 mouths.
What about the ears?
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
Never mind. Hey, dig. Now, this is what it's called identikit. All we do is put the spare parts together till we make up Helen's suspect. Okay, here's copies of our guide. Find them. Poor guy. Find them.
Okay.
Find them. terribly quick there.
Hey, I sure dug the way you played in that basketball game last week.
Thanks, man.
Hey, you want to get some lunch or something?
Oh, man, I got some business to take care of. I'll see you later.
Hey, Arnie. Yeah, that was a great report you did in Miss Johnson's class. Oh, yeah? Thanks. Hey, I was just going to get some ice cream. Do you want some? Oh, yeah. Thanks. Save it, man. I got it.
Casey, Mr. Walker. Hey? Casey, what's going on? The traffic between my class and your office is starting to look like a freeway.
Well, maybe you ought to keep a closer eye on your class.
It's not that easy. You got them coming and going so fast, I may need a revolving door.
Something I ought to know about?
Oh, no. Nothing I can't handle.
Pete, let's have lunch.
I can't. I got something to do. I'll see you later.
Okay, but I do want to see your first free period, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me. Arnie, I want to see you.
Casey is strict, yes. Hard-nosed, okay. But I don't know about unfair, Alice.
Well, he's unfair to me.
Why?
Because I'm going to have the best disciplined bunch of failing students in this school. He keeps interrupting my classwork, pulling them out of class.
Now that's unfair.
Yeah. What's this? Mutton and aspic, I think.
How can you tell?
Liz McIntyre, some of this happens to be very good food.
Yeah, well, which is and which ain't?
Alice, is this the first time you substituted in home ec?
Well, yes, but I think I'm developing quite a little talent for it.
Well, maybe we can have lunch again when you're sure.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Thank you very much.
Arnie, what's the matter?
Mr. Casey knows all about the microscope. I'm on probation, and it'll probably go on my record. You're the only one I told.
Arnie, I never said a word.
I trusted you, Mr. Dixon, and you turned me in.
Pete, you just drove past your stop. Don't we have an appointment right now?
Oh, yeah, I know, but I gotta go see Casey about something important. Can I meet with you later?
You can meet with me later, but be a little gentle with him, will you, Pete? He's delicate.
Don't worry, I only plan to ask him a few questions.
I know about Arnie. Have you tried talking to the kid first?
Yeah, but it didn't do any good. Now I want to find out from Casey where he's been getting his information.
You think he's going to tell you?
I don't know, but I'm sure going to try and find out.
Pete, if Casey's out of line, that's my concern. I'll handle it.
The trust of those kids is my concern.
Pete, I'll handle it. Come on. Let's keep our appointment.
Why do I get the feeling that you know everything that goes on in this school?
Because I do.
Man, if you knew what you was talking about, you wouldn't know what you was talking about.
I'm telling you, everybody knows.
And I'm telling you, got the wrong cat. Mr. Dixon don't need to be sneaking around.
No, doesn't everyone say we don't trust anyone over 30? Well, he's a teacher over 30, isn't he?
Oh, no, look, that might sound right, but I can't go for that.
Here's Arnie. He'll tell you. Hey, these kids been spreading the word that Mr. Dixon turned you in. Tell him the truth, man.
He did turn me in.
Okay, break it up. Everybody take a seat. Yesterday when the bell rang, we were discussing laws. Do you ever think that there's a legitimate reason to disobey a law? Nancy. Didn't you start to say something yesterday?
I've been thinking a lot about what we said, and it really connects with what's happening now. It's relevant, you know.
Is it? How, Charlie? Thanks, Jason, but I'd like to hear from someone else. John? Emmeline? Arnie?
First, we sprinkle in a little of this gray powder.
Ooh, what's it smell?
That's adult roses. It's been in everything in the chemistry lab. Oh, Helen, you better be getting in your place now.
Okay, good luck.
Cool. Be cool.
Who you got for suspects?
I got it narrowed down to Charlie, Sam, and Arnie.
Arnie? But wasn't he one of the victims?
You know a better way to get the suspicion off yourself? Now that Charlie always wearing dark glasses, what's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Now, if you ask me, that Sam is really the one to watch, man.
How come?
Because he look guilty all the time.
Well, maybe he's just scared because you keep following him around all day.
Never mind that, man. Let's get set up, okay?
Okay. Now if the oven's lit and the suspects are deployed outside, then what?
Then when you set this oven off, man, pow!
Wait a minute, why do I set it oven off?
Because you're the right type.
What makes me the right type?
Because you're smaller than me. Anyway, it's about time. Good luck, man, good luck.
Good luck.
Hey, Jason. What are you doing? Will you wait till they get here? They're coming, man. They're coming. They're coming. Oh.
Oh, no! Jason and Bernie fighting! Jason and Bernie are fighting!
Oh, Bernie, you overdoing it.
Who's overdoing it? You're killing me.
Oh, look, it's Larry! Boy, is he gonna get in trouble. Let's get out of here.
That was beautiful, man.
I thought you said nothing would happen.
Nothing did. The oven's fired.
Well, my eyebrows aren't. They're gone.
You're right, man. One of them made a beeline for Casey's office.
Did you get there in time to see who it was?
I sure did, and it wasn't one of your suspects.
Hey, Victor.
Oh, hiya, Jason. Can I get you something?
You already did, man. 2 weeks detention.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you know as well as I do, man, what I'm talking about.
Oh, John, what's the matter with you?
Don't jive, man. I want to know why.
Jason, I'm sorry.
Man, you some kind of a weird two-timing dude. Go around buying people everything you see in sight, letting your light shine all over the place. But the first chance you get, you break to the vice principal office, and you sell out. And I want to know why you do this, man.
Well, Jason, see, I like you, and I wanted you to like me. Ever since I came to school, I've been trying to make friends, but it's hard for me. I'm just not like you.
You still haven't answered my question, man. Why'd you think to Casey?
Well, I got in trouble, just like you did. Casey said he'd let me off if I'd help him out. I didn't want to do it. He made me do it, Jason. He hired me.
Casey hired him?
That's what he said.
Excuse me.
She needs help, not punishment. Her home life is in a mess. Why don't you let me talk to her?
All right, if you want to give it a try, I'll hold off. Is that the last of them?
That's it.
Casey, I want to talk to you.
Well, you seem to be upset, Mr.
Did you hire Victor O'Brien as an informer?
No, I did not.
He said you did.
Get Victor O'Brien in here, please. Well, you went for it again, didn't you, Dixon? These kids can tell you anything, you'll believe it.
You didn't answer my question. Have you been using him as an informer?
In a manner of speaking, yes. But I never hired anyone. When a boy comes to me with information, if it'll help keep order in this school, I use it.
You may keep order, but what about his character and self-esteem?
You don't sit in this office, Pete. I've got a job to do and judgments to make. I got to worry about kids parking illegally and other kids pushing speed. Now, I don't need or care for informers about parking. But if I can save a kid from an overdose of narcotics or a pregnant girl from committing suicide, I'll take that kind of information from anyone. Now, would you rather I didn't?
I'd rather you found another way.
Like what?
I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of way to be able to...
Come in. Victor, did I ever hire you or force you to tell me anything? Well, did I?
No, Mr. Casey.
Satisfied? All right, Victor, you can go now.
All right, he lied. But they all don't lie. Some would like to tell the truth if there was an atmosphere of trust which your methods prevent.
Dixon, will you never learn? There's a whole world.
Stop it! Look, neither of you is going to be convinced. If a life's at stake, sure, you have to do anything to save it. But at the same time, you can't go around turning students against each other. You can't make them live with the suspicion that any and everything they do is going to be reported. Discipline is fine, but not as a tool to destroy trust.
Excuse me, but it looks like there's going to be trouble. You better come quick.
So what's it gonna be?
Man, that's what you call touch and go.
If anybody touched me, I've been gone. Jason, how come you did that?
Something Mr. Dixon said.
What?
He said you gotta figure out why some people do something. And I think I figured you out, man.
Yeah, well, Jason, I lied to you, too.
I know you did.
You do? Well, how?
I got you all figured out in my head.
Yeah, but why wouldn't...
To make me feel good, man. See, I'm the cat that really figured out it was you. And I don't want to be responsible for you getting leaned on when I'm not around to watch out for you.
Don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, I do. You know, those guys are in there, and they're going to come after us. Can we please go? Thank you very much.
Long day, huh?
Mr. Dixon, I just paid off the microscope. $72.90. I'm still on probation, but it's not going on my record.
That's great, Arnie. Arnie, do me a favor, will you? From now on, do your biology projects in the lab.
You bet.
See you.
Hey, Arnie.
Yeah?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry for what I did. If there was any way I could make it up to you, I would.
Okay, forget it.
Hey, you want to go get something to eat? Come on, I'll buy. That is, do you want to go get a pizza with me?
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry myself.
You know, it's been a long day, but it's been a good day.
Yeah, I feel better, too.
Are you hungry? Now that you mention it, you buying?
Who, me? No.
That's what I like about you, Pete. You're so secure.
See ya, Harry.
I know I'm late. Oh, no, run. Just what I needed. I'm not sleeping later. I'm not moving slower. The clocks must be turning faster. All
Yes, Pete. I said I'd get them. Library? Sure, it's right on the way. Oh, there's plenty of time. Okay.
Hey, Liz! Wait up a minute. Oh, hi, Alice. I gotta run. What's the rush? I have an hour of work to do before school begins. You didn't make it. My head knows that, but my feet won't stop trying.
Morning.
Oh, hi.
Is it tickets?
Tickets.
Here's your book.
Thank you. You know something? You are a very special lady.
Thank you. I'm also a very hassled lady.
See you later. Bye, Alice.
Oh, bye.
You know, I had the kind of morning you wouldn't believe. First, the alarm didn't go off. Then the coffee boiled over. Then my toast burned. So if I was a little short when you called, I'm sorry.
Look, Liz, can we talk about it later? I got an important meeting.
You have an important meeting. I have an office full of students waiting for me right now. A total caseload of 375 as of yesterday. 14 college recommendations to write, 3 classes to visit, and 4 parents to counsel. And a boy whose heart I have to break when I tell him he bombed out on the SATs, and you have an important meeting to go to?
I guess we both do. See you later.
You're not recommending me for college. Why?
Because, Craig, college isn't the best answer for everyone. Look, there's some really fine vocational schools. I thought you might be interested in training for a job in computer technology. Of all your test results, your math scores were the highest.
Well, how bad were they?
Not so hot.
Do I get to see the results?
Sure.
Below average, huh? Okay, I'll have to work harder. I'll bring my grade average up.
Craig, tell me, how many hours a day do you study?
3, sometimes 4.
You work very hard to keep that C average, don't you? Craig, I said before, college isn't the best answer for everyone. It also isn't the only answer, so there's no need to feel inadequate.
No, you don't know my family. I mean, they're great. They don't hassle me or anything, but it's hard for them. You see, I'm a real oddball in my family. They're all very smart people. And who knows where I came from? Listen, my father says you can set your mind to do whatever you want to. So here's where it's at for me. I have to go to Harvard.
Harvard?
Harvard Divinity, where Emerson went, and my grandfather, and my uncle, and my father. I want to work for the Lord, Miss McIntyre. I want to be a minister.
Okay. We learned from history that even honest men can become involved in dishonest manipulation.
The only thing you gotta wonder is how come a United States president could be so uncool?
Yeah, when Grant was in the Army business, he called the shots, and he was really together. But then he became president and blew his thing.
Why?
Because he trusted some crooked politicians, that's why.
No. It was because he was a poor little lamb who had lost his way.
Oh, well, Crazy Judy strikes again, huh?
I take it that you have something you wish to contribute?
I find this whole discussion so incredibly mind-blowing that there's nothing that I could possibly add to make it more interesting. So I think I'll just sit right here and learn.
Judy, I'd like to see you after class.
Anything your little heart desires, big boy.
Hold it. Read pages 417 through 420. And I'll be expecting to see some of those term reports. They're all due in at the end of the week. The rest of you can go.
Did you want to see me about something, Bernie?
Oh, no, I was just leaving. I had...
Far out.
Judy, your audience is gone, so you can cut the act. I think it's about time that you and I had a little talk.
I can't stop thinking about Craig Evans. You know, there isn't a student in the school who tries harder than he does. But I've tested him 18 different ways. He's just not equipped to compete academically.
Craig Evans, you mean Reverend Evans' kid?
Yes. He wants to get his degree at Harvard Divinity. It's a family tradition. But I don't think he could make it through junior college.
So he wants to be a minister. Does it have to be Harvard Divinity?
My point exactly. I have a friend who's doing Christian missionary work with the street people here in Los Angeles. And I thought maybe it might give Craig another way to go if I took him to his house.
A good idea.
Whose house, your friend?
No, he just works there.
Where?
His house.
It's the name of a teenage Christian nightclub. Some of our kids have been going there.
It's really okay, Mr. Kaufman. I know all about it. They only serve soft drinks. It's very nice.
Well, it sounds okay to me. Do you think it'll do any good?
I don't know. It might free his thinking some. I mean, where's it written that you need a college degree to do the work of the Lord?
Miss McIntyre, I want to go on record about Mr. Gruzinski and driver's ed.
Liz, can I talk to you a minute? Excuse me.
Yeah, sure. He doesn't like the way I back up. My boyfriend taught me how to back up.
I know you had an appointment with Judy Shore, but I came to tell you not to wait. She's gone.
Gone?
Yeah, I was talking to her, and she just got up and left. We looked all over for her, but can't find her.
Well, were you talking to her or counseling her, Pete? I mean, why didn't you send her to me?
Well, I had a situation come up, and I decided to handle it right there on the spot. There was no point in bothering you.
No point bothering me, huh? It's all right to bother me to pick up theater tickets and library books, but when it comes to the work I do, you don't want to bother me?
Liz, don't you think you're overreacting a bit?
No, I don't.
Well, excuse me. I think I better go tell Mr. Kaufman.
Yeah, sure, Pete.
To be truly human is to be conscious of human weakness, but confident that it can be overcome. People are lonely because they build walls instead of bridges.
The man who wants to save his life will lose it, but the man who loses his life for my sake will find it.
Helps to run the place.
Is she a minister?
No, but she ministers.
Well, look at it this way, Craig. This isn't a congregation. It's people. And this isn't a church. It's a house of celebration. Can you dig that?
I don't know. What do you do here exactly?
Well, we're just trying to close up the spaces. Say, do you have any time after school?
After school? Maybe. Why?
Inez, you don't give a boy a chance to sit down before you put him to work.
Well, we're not going to get any of it done standing around here. So, come back, Craig. And as for you, don't worry. I'll be back. All right, you better, girl. Or you're going to hear from me. And if I can't get to it, I'll get the Lord on it. All right.
Well, goodbye. Listen, feel free to stop by anytime.
Bye, Mike, and thanks a lot, Eve.
Right.
Bye, Reverend Holloway. It is Reverend, isn't it?
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
See you, Liz.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, say it. Tell me what you're thinking.
Miss McIntyre, I know what you're trying to do. I thank you for it. But it won't work. This isn't how I want to spend the rest of my life. This is not a church.
Look, if a church is supposed to be a place to love and to serve something higher than yourself, then it doesn't have to be a building. It doesn't have to be a place. Couldn't it just be you?
I don't know how to do it all by myself. I need the trappings, and I want them. I want to be like my dad.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Did you find someone to go to concert with last night?
Nope, I gave the tickets to Jerry Gerard.
Oh. Pete, I felt you slighted me professionally, and I was a little annoyed at you. I'm sorry.
Why the change?
Something I heard last night. People build walls instead of bridges.
Yeah, I noticed.
You know, I've been trying all morning to reach Judy's mother. She travels.
2 hours from now, the police will get a missing persons report from an aunt who didn't even know the child was missing until we told her.
What are you doing?
I'm ripping off some food, stupid. What does it look like I'm doing?
Oh, here. You're really hungry.
Yeah, well, you would be too if you hadn't eaten since yesterday.
Why?
Hey, man, why don't you leave me alone? Don't you have a class you have to go to or something like that?
Yeah, I'm cutting it.
Join the club. I'm cutting the whole semester. You know what? This isn't a bad place to hang out. I slept here last night.
How come?
Well, they lost my reservation at the Hilton. Hey, man, you really are dumb.
That's what they keep telling me.
Look, man, don't get all bent out of shape over it. Look, I want to split this crummy town, and I'm busted. Can we come?
I know you. You have Mr. Dixon's history class in English with Miss Johnson.
Oh, great. I'm trying to split, and he's giving me my whole curriculum. Look, fella, all I said was, do you want to run away with me? Well, it figures. I just thought maybe you might have a watch that we could pawn or something. I'll see you around.
Wait. I don't know what's bugging you. But could it be that bad? Please tell me about it.
You got a month?
Got an hour? What's your name?
Crazy Judy. What's yours?
Dumb Craig.
Well, you see, I've got this plastic doll who likes to call herself Mother. And I've got this aunt who's really Adolf Hitler in drag. And I've got a sister somewhere. Do you ever get the feeling that you can see things that other people can't see?
Not very often. I envy you that, the gift.
Some gift. You walk around and you see all the creeps in the world. They're nice, phony, respectable faces. You just want to smash them because they're so plastic. Because they all lie.
Everybody doesn't lie, Judy. My parents don't.
You'll find out.
No, they don't. Mr. Dixon doesn't. Miss McIntyre doesn't.
Huh? Biggest phony of them all. She's always so perfect.
What's wrong with that?
It's just not real, man.
God's love is perfect. It's very real.
Somebody tell me why I'm still here. I don't believe this.
Just believe him. Don't run away, Judy. I have someplace I'd like to take you to tonight.
Judy?
So you're back, huh? Who says I ever left?
I'll let you know when I decide whether I'm here or not.
She's here.
Okay, so where do I go now? Jail, detention, what? Well, why don't we start with my office, okay? I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Well, you blew it, crazy. You should have left when you could.
I'll tell you what you really are. You're smart, angry, hurt, and also kind of dumb. Which is to say you're human like the rest of us. So why don't you try something different? Show us the real you. If you get bored, you can always go back to being Crazy Judy. Join the world of the straights and end up like Miss McIntyre, right? Well, is that really so bad? Well, you're not the most terrific lady in the whole world, but you're a lot better than I thought you were. Thanks, Judy. You're better than my mother and Adolf Hitler, at any rate. Hey, I have 19 apologies to make to Mr. Kaufman. Can I go now? Sure. Thank you. Okay. Oh, listen, I know, I'm going. Pete, something just occurred to me. You didn't neglect to call in my professional services. Judy refused to see me, right?
That's right.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
If a student refused to see Mr. Kaufman, you would tell him, right?
You're a hard lady to please.
I'll work on it.